Yes, you lovely people, if you're not already, make sure you give us a follow over on Spotify. I've just signed for Manchester United. The thing is, I've actually got no money in the bank at the minute.
Was he not looking at you like...
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Fozcast. Today we are talking all things footballers' entourage, the relationship players have. It could be family, it could be friends, it could be your wife. I do not care. We will talk about it. We will lay it bare. We will explain exactly what happens. For example, if a player from Spain gets a move over to England, who does he come over with? Does he come over with just his wife? Does he come over with his mates? If he's 19 years old, he could have 3 or 4 of his mates. Who looks after them? Who pays for them? We're going to talk about it today. And we are joined by the legend, the main man himself, Tubesy Boy.
Thank you, boys. Buzzing to be it's my first time here at Spotify.
Oh, it is, isn't it?
In the proper studio. Yeah.
It's not bad, is it?
It's double decent.
How's golf life treating you?
Golf life is great, mate. It's going really well. Loving it. We filmed with Declan Rice last week, and it went out yesterday morning.
Was it as good as the first video you did with Declan?
It's better. It's
right.
better than the first video.
Link in description.
It's so much better than the first one.
Check it out.
But anyway, let's Fozcast it out.
Right, so this is kind of semi-inspired by a couple of things, actually. I think we have cheekily ripped this off from the legend Peter Crouch, because I do remember him doing an Entourage type podcast. So we're nicking from the best of them, and we are big fans of the TV show Entourage, aren't we, Ben?
Oh, massive fans.
Mega fans?
Well, yeah, mega fans. Well, you watch it more. Back in the day, right, we used to watch it the same amount, and I would be better with the knowledge on Entourage. I would do little movie quotes, and I'd be like, oh, remember this? And he'd be like, oh, who said that? And I'd know the answer. But he's watched it more recently, so he's a bit more brushed up on it than what I am. But for sure, Entourage, me personally, it is neck and neck between that and The Office for favourite ever TV programme.
I feel bad here. I'm going to have to tell you, I've never seen it.
Never seen it?
Never seen
Entourage. I am jealous of you.
And I watch a lot of TV, so
I'm jealous.
Should I get on it?
Without that, you are so lucky that you've not watched this yet.
Yeah.
Okay, honestly, you are so lucky, right? I'll break it down for you. The premise of the Entourage, right, is basically an up and coming movie star out in LA, right? He from New York, he moves to LA, but because he's still young and he's up and coming and all that kind of stuff, he moves out there with his friends. All right.
Where did he move from? In whereabouts in New York?
Queens. Yeah, so better knowledge for you there.
Fans.
So anyway, he moves out to LA, and he brings his boys with him. Basically, yeah, he doesn't. He brings 3 of his mates. He's got an agent out in LA, and it's basically about all their relationships, how they work, the roles that they play, the jobs that they do, because they all work for him. Okay, you've got Turtle, who's kind of like his little like runabout, his little mate who goes and gets all, you know what I mean, does all the harrying work. You got E, who is like a bit more sensible. He's basically
manager,
Tom.
isn't he?
He's like Tom. Honestly, he's just like
he's an
Tom.
absolute fucking legend.
No, he is. He's like Tom. I promise you. Right? He's isn't he? He's the serious one. He's like a bit boring at times. You know what I mean? Like a bit more reserved.
I love this podcast so much.
Yeah, that's Tom. That's E. That's Tom.
Yeah.
Tom is E. Right? A bit more sort of like head switched on kind of thing. And then you've got Johnny Drama, who is Vince's like stepbrother kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah. And Johnny's like the funniest guy in it, isn't he? Johnny's just like the best. He's his older brother, but he likes to look down on Vince as though he's like his big brother, looks after him, but he's so insecure, like he's the man, right?
It's brilliant.
And that's why we wanted to do it, because
it makes sense, because like, footballers bring people with them, don't
exactly,
they? So
yeah.
like it.
So
I
this
like
is
it.
where
There's the link.
Yeah, this is where we're going with it today. So we know for a fact that there's I've seen plenty of footballers who will come over. They might be from a different country, they could be a different part of the country, could be whatever, and they will bring a set of people with them. Like, say, if you're an older footballer, most of the time they'll be bringing the family with them, right? It'll just be the wife, it'll be the kids. They'll settle down, sweet as a nut. But then you do get a lot of people who, like I say, especially from foreign countries, they'll just bring their mates with them. There could be 2, 3, 4 of them. And we want to talk about how that relationship works, how that dynamic works, yeah?
Agents, managers, everything. So first and foremost, to kick it off, why are so many footballers' friends and families involved in their business, their football business? Yeah,
okay. I think the big bit about this now is, back in the day, right? To be an agent, yeah, you had to have all like the qualifications, you had to have this, that, you had to have passed tests and all that kind of stuff, right? The laws have changed over the last few years, right? Where pretty much anybody can do somebody's deal for them, yeah? So my mate, Tom, you could do my deal for me, right?
It's £500.
Yeah, it's
And
dead
you
easy
just
to do.
Sign up.
Yeah.
But that's really interesting. That so back in the day, an agent had to like pass.
Oh,
exams.
registered. They had to be fully registered, everything, yeah.
So I didn't
You
know
do
that.
have to be registered, but you could do it today.
But could you just go and get yourself registered?
Yeah,
Or
simple as that.
Was it a process where you had to sort of go, I know that, and get
You had to know the laws, you had to know the
Yeah.
rules, you have to pass proper tests and stuff like that. And now what a lot of players are doing are, instead of, like, especially if you're a bigger player, you don't really need an agent to sort of angle for a move. They haven't got to kind of ring up clubs and say, listen, my players, he's interested. It doesn't work like that anymore, right? The big players will always have teams after them. They will, right? They'll always have teams after them. So what the big players have started doing is going, I'll use my brother, my dad. I could use my mate. He could be my agent. So instead of giving money to an agent or an agency, he'll give it to his brother. Now, apparently, though, you're not allowed to actually be seen to be giving them money. So, like, a lot of ways around that is probably like you might buy them some nice watches or like a car or something like that and just let them drive around in it. But that's how it's kind of changed, really, where that's why now families and all that kind of stuff have really become part of players' like lives, basically. And then you'll have a guy like, say, like it might be Turtle, who he's the guy that will go and get stuff sorted. You get a food shop in for him, all that kind of stuff. It's a mad world.
On the agent side of things, I think it's an interesting point you make, Ben, because there are players that might be a League One player or a League Two player. It could be a middle of the road Prem player that we haven't seen the best of yet, and that's where agents will earn their money.
Yeah.
But if you are Harry Kane, if you are Erling Haaland, what's an agent really doing?
Well, Declan Rice. Declan Rice,
Of course.
He left his agency, and it's now his dad and his brothers.
Yeah, there you go.
And I think in that instance, it works so well because his dad's already successful in his own right. So he's really, really clever. I've met him. He's a top guy.
Yeah.
And he just wants the best for his son, and he's savvy and stuff like that. And his brothers are top guys as well.
Yeah.
So they look after all his commercial stuff. So I think in that that instance, it's a perfect thing.
Well, take that for as an example, yeah. Declan Rice, okay. Eventually, inevitably, he'll probably get a big move, won't he? He will. It's the way. It's the way that it goes. He'll probably get a big move somewhere. You'll talk £100 million or something like that, but it'll happen whether it's this season or next season or season after. It'll happen eventually, right? His dad won't have to do anything to try and angle for that move. He won't have to get in touch with clubs or whatever. The clubs will come straight to they'll come to West Ham. It's as simple as that. They'll come to West Ham and they'll be bidding money for it, and eventually it will go through. The only thing that his dad will have to do really is be really savvy and clever on personal terms, like wages, signing on fees, bonuses, all that kind of stuff. You could, like, nowadays, even like relegation fees or relegation clauses, or like if somebody makes a minimum bid, like a maximum bid. So what's it called?
Buyout
Release
clause.
buyout clauses, where they could they've really started to insert those clauses.
You haven't got to be the. This is not meant to be disrespectful because I do it. You haven't got to be the brain of Britain. You've just got to know the marketplace, haven't you?
Or be really good at playing Football Manager. Learn half of it from there anyway.
I once got Doncaster, and I won the Champions League back-to-back with them, as well as the Prem.
Well,
anyway,
but it's the same sort of thing. When you sign in a player on Football Manager, genuinely, you get the fee agreed, and then it's like down to personal terms. And you'll be giving them little bonuses here and there. You might give them a car or something.
But with someone like Declan, though, the most important thing that his people will obviously need to know is, right, he's going in big. It could be the record transfer.
Yeah.
What is the equivalent player on?
Yeah.
That's the key thing, isn't it?
You'll need to learn. So he needs to know where he's going to be on the pay scale for a team. So is he going to be the highest earner at that football club? Who is the highest earner at that football club? What are they earning? All that kind of stuff. And he needs to know that he's on par or more. If it's £100 million, for example, he might want to be more. That's when you need to sort of do a bit of due diligence, ask around, try and find out from other agencies or other players that you might know, how much do you think he's on a week? And then you can start to base your negotiations off of that.
But you'll know that it's a small world, isn't it? And word gets about, doesn't
People talk, mate. Everybody talks. Like, even no matter what football club I've been in, you always have a gauge of what players are on. You always kind of know who's the highest earner. You always kind of know who's the lowest earner, and even everybody in between. Kind of now and then you get these odd little mad ones. Like some will go, do you know he's on like 60 grand a week or something? And you're going, shut up.
No, but that must be so
way.
awkward sometimes.
Yeah.
If you're like, you've been at a club for a while and you haven't signed a new contract and you're on, I don't know, 30 grand. Okay, 30 grand.
Yeah.
Amazing. And then you see someone else on 60. I don't know. That would be so like, how is he? He's not even playing. And like, I'm on 30. It must
Yeah.
be so like,
Yeah, it would bother people, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But you look, this is why, obviously, a lot of like academy players, for example, and stuff, there's a tendency from clubs sometimes to not like let them evolve, and they'll be like, well, they come through the academy, they're not getting 300 grand. And you go, well, no, you're going to have to pay it, or they're gone.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
think-
like Declan, like we keep using him as an example, Mason Mount, for example. These guys will be earning really, really good money.
Yeah.
But Spurs are quite interesting, aren't they?
with what?
With their pay scale.
Yeah, they are.
'Cause they
They're-
won't do it, will they?
No, they've never been massive payers, you know. Really haven't been massive payers. And even talking to some Spurs players I've known in the past, like even the bonuses, yeah. Like you have club bonuses of
Yeah.
if you beat, like if you win 2 or 3 games on a row, it might double. The bonuses might double or whatever like that. Some of the Spurs bonuses I've heard about in the past is like you hardly getting any bonuses for beating teams or where you finish in the league or something. The only ever bonuses they were getting is if they were beating the big boys, the Man City, the Liverpool, and
Really?
yeah, that's the only ever time they were getting bonuses. Like whereas a lot of clubs, like lower down teams, like they will do bonuses based on where they'll finish in the league at the end of the season, and they'll do like little strings of runs of games. So you wait for the fixture
That's really
list to be
interesting.
released,
Yeah.
and you will look at like a month, for example. You'll look at a
3
certain
wins
month.
out of 4.
Yeah.
Then boom.
See that month there, lads? They're
Yeah.
all against teams that are similar to us. Yeah, they're all going to be in the same boat as us come the end of the season. If you can put a run of games together there where you win, the bonus might double each game. So if you win the first one, the bonus gets doubled to the next game. You win that one, it gets doubled for that one. And that's what they do. That's how they base it off certain teams like that.
Yeah, I mean, the one word we haven't used is trust.
Yeah.
So that's the other element, isn't it? One, you don't want money going outside of the family, so to speak.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the trust element can't be bought.
No, it's true. Yeah, like especially for foreign players who come over, they don't really know the lay of the land, do they? Like if they're going out and stuff like that, they want to have people with them. They're going to restaurants and stuff like that. People you trust, but that comes with a lot of sort of hidden expense as well that you might not understand, because basically you've got to pay for 4 people to live. So first and foremost, you're putting them up in your house or your apartment or whatever. You have to pay for every single facet of their life. Like they're basically coming to work for you, even though they're not on the books or it's not a
I was
business.
going to say, are they not on the books?
No, God no.
Some will be.
Would they not be
very-
getting paid?
I
Like,
doubt
they
it. They'll
come
get-
over from this country. And
They'll
live
get
with me.
paid, but they're not on the books. I guarantee you, they're not in a business. It'll just be cash in hand, or they'll buy the stuff for them. So phone bills, for example, it'll all be under the player's name. Like cars, they'll be under the player's name. Like they'll have to give them walking about cash, knocking about cash, and stuff like
I
that.
find that really weird.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
Have you had that throughout your career? Like people that, not like people who live with you and go
Yeah.
and buy you shopping down Sainsbury's or whatever, but like, say if you like walk into a bar, it's like, if you got like, oh, it's Ben Foster, he's minted. He's a professional footballer.
He'll get 'em
I
in.
want to know him. I want to talk to him. I want to.
Oh, you get
That's
a load of people trying to talk to you anyway, kind of thing. That's the way.
No, but
football-
like sort of friends. that you
Yeah,
thought were
like
friends.
where we grew up with, there's always been like the group that we grew up with and sort of thing. And if we're out, then I'm happy to put my hand in my pocket and buy everyone a drink, kind of thing. But I'm not letting people sort of like, what's the
Take
word?
the piss.
Take the piss. I'm not letting them sort of lynch on and sort of like suck the life out of me and then pay for drinks all night long. And I'll buy a few. Don't get me wrong, that's not a problem to me. But I think we're clever enough really to see those ones coming. Do you know what I mean? Especially as you get older, you notice and you see who's who and you realise what people are about.
But this is it. Some players will blindly do it.
Yeah.
Others will notice it a little bit more. I've had it plenty of times before where we've been out and we're drinking, and it's always difficult because you live in different worlds. Is the reality?
Yeah, true that.
So like, if we're going out for dinner and you're going, I want to go here and I'm going to order that and that, you kind of go, oh, blimey, that's lumpy.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, you accept that, like, if you're doing that and you're taking your mates with it, you kind of accept that, listen, I can't force this on them. So
Yeah.
you'll kind of 9 times out of 10
You pay the bill.
dip your hand in the pocket.
And it's normally a lumpy one as well.
Yeah.
But it goes.
As if I'm going.
Yeah, it's the same like as holidays though. So if you're going on
Yeah.
holiday in the summer, and
Yeah.
you want to get away with the boys, and all your mates are like mates from school and stuff like that, they haven't got the same money as you've got, and so like whereas if they go separately from you, they're going to say Ibiza or something like that. They might stay in somewhere like, I don't know if you've ever been here, but Jet Apartments, Jet Apartments in Ibiza, right? It's like the most basic hotel in the world. It's literally like cheap as chips. It's a cheap one out there, and if you're a footballer, you can't go to Jet Apartments. You can't.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get absolutely mullered, right? So if you're going away with your boys, you have to go, right, lads, listen, we can't go Jet Apartments,
Yeah.
But then they'll say, but we can't afford anything other than Jet Apartments.
And it's not a case of people being like, let's get Ben to get
Yeah,
paid.
but then that's real friends.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They're going, we can't afford to. do
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
Ben.
yeah,
We
yeah.
don't-
But you
we-
wouldn't put people in a position,
Yeah.
in my experience,
no, of
you
course
would
not.
never put people in a position like that. But we've been in a bar, and you're not daft. You look at it like, you know, especially as you get older and people do a little bit better as you get older, generally speaking. Like I've been into a bar and stuff with people, and there's like a big 7 or 8 of us with Fozzie, and they walk in there and they just stand there. And like I've been in there before, and I've been to the bar and go 7 pints. Yeah. Like you ain't getting a choice. Yeah, if no one's going to walk up to the bar, or if fair enough, split off into your little rounds. But I've seen you notice that, and in the past, I've been standing at the bar and felt something in my back pocket, and he's chucked a few quid in my back pocket, and I'm like, no, you don't need to do that. And you're like, no, you've been to the bar 2 or 3, you know. Just don't worry about it.
The thing is, right, for footballers as well, even any sort of celebs, going to the bar is like a bit of a problem, because normally you'll go to the bar by yourself, yeah, and that's the time where all the people that have been looking at you all night long, they will make a beeline and they'll make a point of standing next to you and go, oh, all right, mate, but they've definitely seen you come and they've just waited for their moment. Absolutely. And it's like, oh, God, here we go. And some of them are good as gold, like most people are, but you will get the nosers who will come up and they'll be like, oh, I saw you last week, what were you doing? Like, that was crap. What you? And I'm thinking, all right, mate, I'm just trying to have a drink. Just trying to have a nice time. But they do. So like, anytime any of them lot will go, I'll go, yeah, are you going to bar? All right, sweet, get me this, and then I'll just give them like so they can go and get it, kind of thing. Yeah,
well,
which is fair enough.
One of the most horrendous things I ever saw with that was there was like when we used to finish Soccer AM, we always used to go to a place called the Rugby Club, and it was just basically we'd go there straight after the show, and it was like to have a few beers and stuff like that, and sometimes it turned into more and more beers. And this particular show, Gaza was on with Razor Ruddock. So as you can imagine, those couple of beers turned into absolute monstrosity. But like, yeah, Razor Ruddock had his old boy out. It was just like, I was only young.
Decent.
Yeah, lovely little.
Decent Willie.
Lovely bit of girth, yeah. But I was just like, what is going? I was only young at the time. And it was like, before, you obviously knew Gaza, you know, obviously liked to drink, but it wasn't like, you know, he had a drink problem. So it was, everyone was getting on it. I was like, this is mad. Like, I think I was 16, 17. And like, you know, I was having my beers and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And then Gaza went to one of his mates. He went, go and get me, can you go and get some cigarettes, please? Do you remember the old cigarette machine? Yeah. But Gaza just brought out a wad of notes. Like, I mean, like, this sort of like, I mate, it was
3 or 4 inches thick. Yeah.
Mate, it was a proper wad of cash. He was like, here, give it to him. And I'm like, I was working for free at the time. I was like, I've never seen money like that. I was like, oh my God. So I was like, just looked at him, this guy. So he walked up there. So he went to the bar, changed it up to put the coins in the machine, got him like 20 B&H gold, gave him the cigarettes. And I just watched him go with this wad of cash.
Cheers, mate. Oh my
In the pocket.
And I was like, it always sticks in my mind. I was like, he must have just taken about 700, 800, 900.
Wow.
I was like,
for a pack of 10 quid fags or something.
Yeah. And it was like, that was it, forgotten. I was like, that's not a friend, man. That's not. What you should say is, nah, piss off, go and get him yourself.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, no worries, I'm going up to the bar anyway. Here you go. I only need a tenner there to get some change.
As soon as he gives it you, give them the rest of it back and go, nah, come on, like, don't be stupid.
And I was like, that's not a mate. And this guy is like renowned of being one of his really, really good mates. So I was like, that's just bollocks.
Mate,
I couldn't believe it.
There's so many, like, I've read some stories in the past, like some of these American like football players and all that kind of stuff, who are like literally paying for a couple family. So he will pay for all of his family, brothers, sisters, like dad's, mum, all that kind of stuff, and then he'll be paying for his wife's family, brothers, sisters, mum and dad, and they literally keep him on a retainer. It's like they pay them as soon as the wages come in. They're paying. They're giving money to there. They're giving money to there. They're giving for them to live. Do you know what I mean? For them to live. So there's been so many horror stories of like these massive, like really wealthy guys just end up with nothing because they're just constantly paying money out. You have to eventually, once you get to the end of football, you have to go like, listen, I can't keep doing this anymore, you know, and you have to slowly turn the tap off. You can't just wait till the day you retire and go, can't do it anymore. That's it. Because it's a big shock to the system.
And then watch these people, who've been taken off you your whole life. As soon as it stops, it's like, oh, see you later.
That'll do now.
Because I don't really want to mention his name because I don't think it's fair for me to say it, but we had someone on Golf Life and he does not speak to his family, any of his family. Because as soon as he made it as a young boy, coming through the ranks, they were on him. Like, can you get us that? Can you get us a car? And he was just like, he was like, he doesn't speak to any of his family.
Oh, that's sad, isn't it?
It's really sad.
And I was like, we did it. We filmed it not long ago. And I was like, I can't. He was like, yeah. He goes, they just wanted me because of my money.
No, that's horrible.
It's really sad when it's family. Like friends, you can see that kind of dynamic developing, can't you? But that's really, really sad when it's when it's family, isn't
I
it?
felt really. He could tell the way he was speaking about it. It was off camera, obviously.
Yeah.
And he was just like, yeah, it's just I don't speak to any of them.
Oh,
It's like,
man.
But then on
It's
the
horrendous.
flip side, with friends and stuff, because you know yourself, Ben, like you could be getting a quote from a Tyler, you could be going to put new cars on your tyre, and people will see him walk through the door and go, yeah, well, that 500 quid job's now $3,000.
Yeah, it's true.
So having people around you, close people around you that do a job for you, that are smart enough,
Yeah.
it's really important.
But
isn't it?
stuff like that, like with that, you learn as you go, kind of thing. You'll meet so many people along the way as you go. Whether it's your accountant, it could be like an agent that you might have had since day one. Like it could be people coming in and doing work for you in the house, a gardener, a builder, a roofer, anything like that. Yeah. You learn along the way the ones that do a proper job, and you'll stick with those people. The second somebody comes in and throws a really bad quote at you, you know straight away what they're about. You do. You know straight away. I love it when we go anywhere. I could be going to buy a new car. I could be going whatever, asking for a quote for this, and I go and talk to them, and they don't mention football. Even if they know or whatever, I don't know, but they don't mention football. They're just straight to business, and they do it properly, professional. And if they do that, and then they give me a sensible quote, I'll be like, all right, cool. I think I trust this one. I think I like it.
Do you know what I think? In some instances, though, it could work in your favour for being a footballer. So if you walk into, I don't know, BMW, Mercedes, like that, and they go, oh, Ben Foster, what's the keeper? Love his YouTube channel. I want to do him a deal.
Yeah.
Do you think that sometimes, especially with social media now,
you
can go, I can say this garage sorted me out.
Some people aren't willing to do the bit. So like I don't really like doing stuff for that, because then it's like I'm beholden to them. Do you know what I mean? It's like I owe them.
Yeah.
I have to owe them something.
Yeah.
Whether it'll be videos or Instagram pictures or something, I owe them. Yeah. So I'm more than happy paying the price, the fair price. Yeah. But I don't really want to be beholden to them, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? And most footballers won't negotiate. They ain't going, oh no, I want a bit off this, I want a bit off that, because it's that ego thing again. It's like, yeah, I've got money, I'm the man, I can afford to pay. Yeah, whatever, it's fine, I'll pay it. It's not a problem. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you get the bill in from a restaurant sometimes, and like, there's no checking the bill. They could stick on another couple of bottles of champagne. You ain't
Just
checking the bill.
literally
Just
bomb.
pay it. It's fine. It is what it is, isn't it? And guaranteed, there's a lot of footballers that will get pants pulled down.
Yeah.
Pants pulled down.
But favours as well. But people, they don't often know their favours. It was a wicked one last week. We got we got on the train and we paid for standard class, and it was really busy, so we jumped into first. And geezer comes round and we said, oh, we need to upgrade. Big blue nose, and he looks at Ben, and it was like someone off TV, and he looks at him and went, no. He goes, you want us to cup final, mate? I ain't taking
Say it in the Birmingham accent.
go on.
You won the cup final, mate, so I'm not taking any money off you.
So I ain't taking no money off you.
Yeah.
Fozzie.
And but the
days.
beautiful thing about it was he didn't want to stand and chat. He wasn't in. He didn't look bothered one bit. He was like, no. He said his bit, and then he just went off, and we were like, what a guy.
Got off the train, saw he was standing there, gave him a little fist pump, and he went, nice, Fozzie, cheers. And I was like, that's lovely. They're the perks of it that you buzz us on.
Yeah.
Little things like that.
So with the kind of groups you mentioned about like foreign players, so allegedly Neymar has a group known as the Parkers, which is partners in Portuguese, I read. And it's 3 in a circle mates, apparently on 10 grand a month each, live with him in Paris.
Having the time of their lives.
10 grand a month.
Well, this is what I read online, but
They're on 120 grand a year just from being Neymar's mate, and they're at his beck and call. They're good to go.
Yeah.
I'm not
like,
having that.
but then at the same point, right? If you're a young footballer, look at it right. You're a footballer, you're going to training and you're doing a couple of hours a day.
Yeah.
Right? You're 26 years old or whatever. I'm not suggesting they should be out on the lash every night partying or whatever. However, you're in a foreign country. What do you do with your time?
You've got a lot of free time.
How important is it to have mates and go, do you know what, let's go to the driving range? Or
Yeah, it is. It's true. You do. I think this is why there's always been so many scandal stories about footballers, because I think footballers just get bored. Like say, you're only training for 2 or 3 hours a day. You're at home most days by about 2 o'clock. You are, and you've got the rest of the day to fill. And unless you're playing on PlayStation and killing your time like that, you want to go out and you want to do something. So you need to have some sort of mates around that you can do stuff with. I ain't trying to justify paying 10 grand a month or anything.
I get having mates. It's important to have mates for anyone, but for that mate to go accept 10 grand a month, Yeah, will you just put it straight into my bank? Yeah, or can you do a bet on with cash as well?
Yeah, I know.
Just
Yeah.
like,
Oh my god.
No,
Get me
I'm not.
crypto.
Yeah.
Get me some crypto. Yeah. Get me
Remember
some
what,
crypto
do you know
this
what we
month,
used to do? But bear in mind, I must caveat that, like when me and Luke used to come down and see you, like we did work, so it was at weekends or whatever. Remember what we used to do to pass time
What?
at the bowling centre? The basketball machines in like a
Ah,
bowling
it's
yeah,
centre.
world class, isn't it? Yeah.
Wow.
In that little arcade was world class, wasn't it? You could whittle away hours in there,
Oh,
couldn't you?
I love that basketball game. The balls just keep
Yeah,
coming.
keep
Oh.
going. You just keep racking them through like that.
Yeah.
I got stitched up a few weeks ago in Spain. I didn't look properly. There was one I was like,
It's
oh,
coming.
brilliant, I'm going on
Bang.
it. Put the money in, there was no balls in.
No.
Ah,
I reckon
come
we should
on.
do that. We should do that on a YouTube video. Us three
Yeah.
against each other.
A little
Yeah.
shoot off, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I was
Oh,
decent
yeah.
at them.
Just cut it into one of the vlogs.
Like, can you imagine though? Like, say you're 21 years old, yeah, and you've just signed a new bad boy deal, 150 grand a week or whatever, right? Can you imagine being 21 years old and earning what's 150 grand? It's like what's that? 7.5, 8 million quid a year, 10 million with bonuses.
Yeah.
10 million quid a year, right? Can you imagine earning that kind of money, right?
the
at 21?
temptation.
The temptation, like the world is at your fingertips, yeah? Like if they haven't got a girlfriend or settled down or anything like that, it's just carnage, mate. Honestly, it's absolutely carnage.
What was it like for you? I'm not saying you were on 150 grand a week, but when you
I was
got
on
the, when,
150 quid a week.
yeah, no, but when you got your first, big deal, and that first month payment came through.
Yeah.
What was it like? Was there temptations for you? Were you like, Jesus Christ?
Nah, I was already settled by then anyway, so it was very, very different for me.
Was this at United? Are we going
This
to
was-
say?
yeah, this
And
was
what
when
was
I-
your salary at United start? Was it £5 grand a week or something?
Oh, well, everybody knows it now.
You've said it on the podcast
Oh, have I
before.
really? Yeah. So my first ever year's salary at Man United was £5,000 a week, and bear in mind I've gone from being at Stoke on 600 quid a week, yeah, £600 a week, which I was buzzing with, by the way, to go to £5 grand a week, right? I was like, what on earth is this?
So, I mean,
All
on
this money.
on a
Yeah,
smaller scale,
but
were you
still,
like,
wow,
flipping,
wow.
I want to go and spend,
Mate,
I want to go and party.
It was incredible. I remember the first thing I did actually was take the whole family. We went to what's the Chinese restaurant at the top of town in Leamington Spa? Not Sands. What's it called? Han, yeah, Han. I took the whole family out to dinner at this Chinese restaurant in Leamington Spa, Han's, top
Did
of
you
town.
order hors d'oeuvres as well?
I met all sorts, mate. Treated them. Have I told you this story about? Right, so I had to. So I like I say, I was on 600 quid a week. I had a car. I had to pay all this kind of stuff. I had no money, right? I had nothing, right? And when I signed for Man United, the money. It's not like the money just instantly hits. Yeah, you have to wait for payday. You have to wait for the signing on fee to hit the bank. Nothing had hit the bank, right? I'd already signed for Man United, like the next day or two, whatever. I was still broke. I was still broke as a joke, right?
Is AD paying for it or something?
No,
Your brother?
no. This is what genuine truth. This is what happened, right? I had to go. I was with HSBC. They were my bank, right? I had to go down to the branch in Leamington Spa down the parade, right? And I had to go in and I had to say, can I speak to the HSBC Premier Manager, please? And they were like, well, he's a bit busy at the minute. I'm like,
Oh, you're so big time.
no, listen, right? Because I knew they would want to talk to me anyway, right? So it was fine. So he was like, he's a bit busy. I was like, all right, it's fine. I'll wait. But I was like, I need money. I'm taking my family out for dinner tonight, right? I need money.
Got chow mein
Any
tonight.
chance for sub, mate?
I need money, all right? So I have to do this. So he was like, he's a bit busy, but if you wait over there, he'll come and see you eventually. Eventually he came over. He didn't have a clue who I was, right? So I had to go, listen, my name's Ben Foster. I have just signed for Manchester United. Like, you can check. Honestly, you can check. I'm not lying. I swear to you, yeah? I've just signed for Manchester United. The thing is, I've actually got no money in the bank at the minute.
Was he not looking at you like?
I think
awesome.
like eventually he's checked and he's like cool. But I've had to go, right, I've got no money in the bank. I'm well into my overdraft, right? I had like £2.5 grand overdraft and I was well into my overdraft, right? I had to say, listen, I've got money coming in on this date, like my wages are coming in, and then I've got a signing on fee coming on this date, okay? But in the meantime, like, I want to take my family out for dinner tonight. I want to look after.
Yeah.
Like, is there any chance you can do like extend my overdraft, like put it to whatever kind of thing,
Yeah.
so I haven't got to worry about like overdrawing or anything like that. And do you know what? He was golden. To be fair,
sorted it,
straight
yeah.
away he was like, "Oh yes, Mr. Foster, we'll make you a HSBC Premier. Like we'll make you a proper.
Wow.
You get a shiny new card, all that kind of stuff."
Very good.
So I had to extend my overdraft so that I could take him out for a.
Didn't stop you binning them off for coots, though, did it?
That's the way it goes, mate. When the big boys come calling, all right, I
Yeah.
want that Coots card, all right. I
Yeah.
want to be going out for dinner in
Bottle of champagne on your
in
birthday every
Mayfair,
year.
and I want to give them that nice little Coots card that looks nice. And it's the Queen's Bank, isn't it, mate? Everybody wants
Yeah,
banks with
of
the Queen's
course.
Bank. But yeah, that was genuinely how
That's
it was. So like that was it. When I first got £5,000 a week, still have to wait for it to hit the bank.
And it comes through every month, and it's not weekly.
No, monthly. You get paid monthly.
When that first 20 bags came through,
well, 10 after tax is 10, isn't it?
Yeah, true.
That's what I mean.
Still,
After tax is
I
10.
suppose.
But it was when the signing on fee hit. It was 60 grand. I got a 60 grand signing on fee, right? And I remember even like doing the contract and signing it, and my agent was like, "And you're going to get a £60,000 signing on fee." And I was thinking, and I just kind of nodded my head as if to say, "Yeah, fine, yeah." Inside, I'm thinking, what?
Wow.
As well as my wages? They're going to pay me that as well as my wages? But yeah, mad, mate. Honestly,
But you mentioned your agent there. What makes a good agent?
Somebody you can trust, and for me personally, somebody that doesn't want to talk to me all the time. Like, I don't need anything. Honestly, I am the most low maintenance player ever. I must be an agent's dream, genuinely. My agent, Vince O'Keefe, he's good as gold, isn't he? You know,
Yeah,
we know Vince. Vince is lovely. Can talk the hind legs off a frigging cart horse. He could, honestly. He is fantastic, but he's the loveliest man, and he's trustworthy. So I know that when it comes to it, he will be able to do the deal. He'll be able to do the business as I need him to do. But in the meantime, I don't need anything. Do you know what I mean? It's not like how you doing? Catch up. I'm fine. I've got my mates. I'm sweet. Just like let me crack on with my stuff. Yeah. When I need you, I'll call you. And it's not like a weird standoffy thing. It's just that he lives up in Blackburn. I live down in the Midlands, and it's, you know, I know what I'm doing.
But you've never been one apart from the last couple of years, for having too many kind of interests outside of football, like commercially, have you?
Yeah,
so you've
true.
got obviously your own personal stuff going on, but obviously since we started the channel, since we started the podcast, this is becoming a lot more relevant these days with players doing media. So do some players have an agent for football and then like a commercial agency for like brand deals?
Yeah, well, a lot of players now they'll be part of a big agency. So the bigger players are part of a bigger agency who have got different departments. So you'll have a sports department who will look after the playing contracts and anything like that, and then you'll have like you say, the commercial side where it could be appearing in adverts, it could be whatever, all that kind of stuff, paid partnership on Instagram, Twitter, all that kind of things to promote stuff. And then sometimes you'll have a media agent as well. Could be within that, could be separate as well. Who will, if you're going to go say on Sky Sports, you're going to do a bit of punditry, a bit of sort of that will be a different agent, because it's all different streams, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Football is its own little world. Media business is another different stream.
Yeah.
So you need to have people relevant in that field to know who they're talking to and what they're talking about.
But that's exactly, going back to Declan Rice, that's exactly what he's like. His dad looks after the football, and then his brothers and my mate Wildy look after all the commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's probably, it makes sense that your football.
Yeah, they're in that world. They'll know that world much better. They know, they've got the contacts. They know who to talk to with certain stuff, and that's just how it works. Yeah.
Yeah. What about YouTube? So obviously you're not a footballer, but you've been in the public eye for 25 years ish. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, but
you must
not to a massive.
No,
on the same level
mate. It's the national sport in this country. You've been on Soccer AM for a long, long time. Obviously, you've got Golf Life now. Have you ever experienced that? I guess the hanger-on type mentality. Is it something you've had to deal with or be conscious of?
I mean, yes, in a way, but it was something that I used to love when I was drinking.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Because towards I don't want to keep banging on about drinking, but now you asked the question, is towards the end of my drinking days, my mates, proper mates, were like, fucking hell, Pete or Tubes, whatever you want to call it, like, we don't want to go out, but then there'd be people like, Tubes, like, can I buy you a beer? And I'd be like, yeah, like, so I could stay out all night with randoms, like, can you do a rap for me and you know all that, and speak to my wife, do one question only and stuff like that. So like the amount of people now that come up to me like, hello mate, how you doing? And I'm like, I've literally no idea.
Wow.
I speak to them and go, yeah, I'm good mate, but I'm like, I'm talking to you. Like, they were like, remember that night out in Wimbledon or Fulham Broadway? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, so I mean, but now I've always had. I'm like Ben really. Like I just have my group of friends.
That'll do.
Do you know what I mean? So and then, you know, I speak to anyone, but I keep it quite like.
Yeah, it's nice though. Small circle.
Yeah, small circle, but it's a very different level to.
What's it been like with regards to sort of like, so you've worked for Scott. The thing is, you're very recognisable. You are. Everybody know if you're a football fan of a certain age, sort of, I'd say 25, 30, which most football fans
20
are.
Onwards, isn't it?
You'll know who Tubes is.
Yeah.
True that. So you do get recognised a lot for sure, right? But what's it been like where, you know, like your contract with Sky, for example, who's the guy that goes and negotiates that? Is it as simple as you would do it yourself?
Yeah,
Have
me.
you ever had an agent to do it?
No.
Always been
No.
yourself?
So we've got people who look after all our golf stuff. You know, when you get like you do, Tom. Like, you know, we want Ben to put this on his channel. We've got that for Golf Life.
Yeah.
But Sky is just a contract that I negotiated once a good few years back because I was like, I'm doing quite good interviews here.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So I had a chat with one of the big bosses, and to be fair, he was good as gold. He was like, yeah, you deserve this. So here you go. But no, I'm not having any agents to go in with Sky and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
good. Take 10% as well, they do, mate. No, media's 20%, isn't it?
20%.
20% in the media. Football contracts, by the way, football agents take 5%. Some
Really?
unscrupulous ones will take 10, but across the board it's normally 5%. Yeah,
Well,
of 5% of like your basically of your year's contract. Yeah,
But I think someone like myself would need, like that's why we have it for Golf Life, because if someone says to me like, oh, we'll pay you this amount to put this thing in the golf video.
in a video.
I'm like, what? So we're getting
Yeah.
extra money like to play golf, and then my big Ange is like, no, he's the one who's like, no, we've got to negotiate that. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I just want to we're getting paid more to play golf. I'm like,
You
"What?"
sound
I'm not
like
even
I'm
very
sure.
good at golf, and people
Yeah.
want to give me money.
yeah, exactly. So I'm like, but Ange is really, really good. He's like, no, we've got, the figures now and the numbers and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And I am quite good at it. But back in the day, if I was a footballer, yeah, and I went in and someone said, oh, well done, Pete, you've had a great season. We want to give you 10 grand a week. I'd be like, yeah, go on then.
Yeah, deal.
Yeah.
sign it now.
Yeah. But like agents be like, no, he's worth 60.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whatever. Like, so I'm not very good at negotiating and stuff like that.
Gary Neville once said to me actually when I was at United. I remember I was going in for a new contract and I was just I wanted to pick his brain, so I just asked him about sort of what I can ask for and blah blah blah, all this kind of stuff. And he said who's your agent? So I told him, and he went, well, I've never heard of him. So because that's what Gaz I've never heard of him.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And he going, listen, he says, why do you need an agent? And I went, well, I don't really, you know what I mean? I was like 22, 23. I was like, I don't want to sit in and try and negotiate with David Gill and Sir Alex Ferguson. It's a bit sort of out of my league. Do you know what I mean? And he was like, why? Why can't you just go in there and tell them what you want? Tell them what you're worth. Tell them what you want. Simple as that. And I was like, well, I don't know. And he went, I go in with my dad and do my contract. And I went, what, you both go in? He goes, yeah, we go in and do our contract. And he went, honestly, every time we go in, there's no way they can say to me, yeah, well, you're not worth that. Because as soon as I go, why aren't I worth that? He goes, they can't ever say to me, because you don't do this. They won't do that. They'll want to butter him up. They want him to feel good.
Takes that.
Exactly.
It takes
yeah.
that kind of
Personality
anyone
to do
can,
that.
and
I
yeah,
think-
it
I don't
does.
think if they went, I want 80, and they went no, I'd be like, all right.
Yeah. Why aren't I worth it?
Yeah,
then?
I'd be like,
He-
I
he-
don't know if I could deal with
Gaznev's that guy, though.
Yeah,
Gaz,
exactly.
Gaznev is that guy. He can happily sit there and go, why aren't I worth
Yeah,
80?
see.
And then he'll break it down. He'll go, see, so I do that. I'm captain for this. I'm captain for I'm leader. I'll run the thing. Why aren't I worth that?
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, he's done it all along, and he will always come out with what he wanted. It was so strong, but you've got to be a certain guy or a certain character.
Do
to
you
be able
do
to
that
it.
now? Sorry to
Don't
interrupt.
know.
Yeah, now I could, yeah, for
So
sure.
I think now that I'm a bit older and a bit more like confident stuff, I reckon I could.
Yeah.
If we went in to do a deal,
Yeah, for sure.
I'd be
Yeah.
like, no, we've done this, that. You're going to get that. I could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like,
You've
not-
got to be
not-
prepared.
not-
As long as you've got the facts and figures, yeah?
Yeah.
And you can go, look, no, this is what it is because we do this, we do that, and we do that, right? And it's proven. That's what I want. That if you can do that, I think you've got
Yeah.
you've got a leg to stand
So
on.
in the last few years, I could do that.
Yeah.
Do you think a family member would be shown, or a friend would be shown less respect
Then an
by
agent.
the industry?
Then an agent.
Yes.
Yeah, probably, but it's a fine line you've got to tread. There is a fine line because at the end of the day, that family member has the ear of the player. Yeah?
Yeah.
They've got their ear. So whatever they say, yeah, if he comes out of that boardroom, that meeting with whoever it is, and says, he's a twat. He's a twat. Honestly, you should hear what he said about you in there. That ain't going down well. That is not going down well with the player at all, right? So they have to play the game. The football clubs have to play the game. They have to tread that fine line of showing him enough respect, but then also trying to be firm. But this is where the big clubs, the good clubs, do it properly, and they will. They'll treat him as a normal human being. The ones that will get this family member in and treat him like shit, honestly, they'll fail eventually. They'll go wrong because that family member will come out. They're a bunch of cowboys in there. They're a bunch of cowboys. Honestly, word gets about. People will tell you everything that's gone on.
True, but I'd also imagine it's what kind of person you are. Do you know what I mean? So if
Yeah.
if it's one of the players' dads, who knows his stuff, knows his football, knows his business, he goes in there and goes bang, 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 bang. But if it's someone's brother who just wants a payday,
Exactly.
they'll get worked out, won't they?
Yeah,
and
of course.
They'll be like, well, we can do him
Yeah.
because he ain't, he literally wants money.
Yeah.
And we just say, yeah, sell him that sort of down that river. And we're like, yeah, good deal, cheers.
There is
I think
quite
it
a lot
depends on
of
the-
there's quite a lot of them doing it now though. So like Marcus Rashford's got two brothers who are his agents. They do all his agency work. They're
Yeah.
the ones who will go and
Jesse
negotiate his deal.
Lingard,
Jesse Lingard,
Callum Hudson-Odoi, I think. His
yeah.
brother Bradley does all
exactly.
his
Callum
stuff.
Hudson-Odoi. Who else was Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain? Same sort of
Harry
thing.
Kane.
Harry Kane, his
Charlie-
brother.
Charlie Kane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it's definitely heading that way now. Do you know what I mean? And they'll once they start doing it, then they'll set their own little agency up, and it will become an agency. But they'll start off sort of getting thrown in at the deep end,
Yeah,
definitely.
It is very, very player dependent, though.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah,
because
yeah.
if you're like the small percentage of players that are at that level that can go in and say, "I want that," because it's so like KDB, for example, he did it, didn't he? He used
Yeah.
all the stats and he put like a huge amount of work into like these stats, saying what he delivers in terms of X, Y, and Z, and like the real forensic dive, and went, "There you go."
Yeah.
And they went, "Okay."
Yeah.
Can't argue. But if you're playing for Doncaster, for example, and you're not a first team regular,
Yeah.
and you're going in for a contract negotiation,
Mate, it's tough.
you need an agent.
I'll be
You need a
interested-
proper
Yeah,
I was
agent.
going to
tough.
say, I'd be interested to know in League 1, 2, and bottom half of the Championship, how many family members are agents
Doing it for them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they probably have actual football agents.
Yeah.
doing it
I
who's
totally
like,
agree.
do you want to get
Yeah.
a move there, nick him there? We can get an extra 500 quid
Yeah.
there. like-
Yeah, exactly. Because
Yeah,
these
so I'm
numbers matter.
yeah,
Of course, yeah.
Some-
When it boils down to it at that level, when you're not earning the big
yeah.
bucks, you need every penny, and so you need to know that the guy going in to do it knows his stuff.
Yeah.
I just think in general, a player, it's so important that they know their worth. Literally as simple as that. As long as you know your worth and you know what you do on the pitch, off the pitch. Do you know what I mean? Because that's just as important. What you like around the place. Do you help in the change rooms? Are you like a good role model? You're professional. That kind of stuff. That's the sort of stuff you can come back with stats for as well. Because it carries a bit of weight.
Yeah. No, it's really interesting. And what about wags?
What about them?
What about wags? Let's talk about the role in what wags play.
Oh,
'cause
it's a horrible
quite
word.
relevant
Wags
at the
is.
moment, isn't it? The old Wagatha Christie.
Oh, it's horrible though. I hate the word wag. I do. I've always hated it. Wives and girlfriends. For the people who don't know what wags means, it stands for wives and
And
girlfriends.
when was that the Sven World Cup?
Yeah,
that was
World Cup.
coined.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, yeah.
Because
The Wags on tour.
They were there, weren't they? In
Yeah.
the hotel and
Yeah,
That was when we're posh and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
That's
weren't
it. Yeah. So talk about the role in which a typical wife plays, because I think a lot of footballers' wives will get a bad rep because they're an easy target.
Yeah.
But actually, in a footballer's life, there's a huge amount of moving parts.
Oh, massively.
Like,
Well,
let's be honest, probably more than most, I guess, other jobs.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
the money is obviously fantastic, but you've got to understand that the wife will, or the girlfriend will be spending a lot of her time at home. She has to run the household basically. So if you've got kids as well, she's the person that's dropping the kids at school virtually every morning, or she's the one picking them up. She's the one who has to organise all the after school clubs, all that kind of stuff. She has to run the household. And I think, like I said, people will say, "Oh, well, that's just what mums do," or that's what.
Yeah,
Like,
and you will get it in the comments.
I
You will get it in
understand
the
that.
comments, but there are differences. So
yeah, but it's
if
also there's a difference. It's like, right, I've been signed for Rayo Vallecano. We're going to Spain.
Rayo Vallecano.
Do you know what I mean? It's like,
Where did that come
I have
from?
no idea, but I don't know how this head works. But and then you go there. Not many people speak English. Doesn't know anyone.
Yeah,
It's quite a lot to do.
that's
with,
tough,
isn't it?
mate. That's tough. Yeah, that's really, really tough.
Kids have got
And
to go to a Spanish.
you have to
school
drop
maybe,
drop
or find
everything,
an
and you
English-
have to
yeah.
go, and then you have to set up a new house. You have to look for houses. You have to look for homes,
And I
somewhere
think
to live, a
the-
nice environment.
Because the footballer ain't got time to do that, has
No,
he?
No,
exactly.
Straight
and
into training.
and the task for someone, let's say normal, I don't like using it, but a regular job, if you ring up and renew your car insurance, it's pretty straightforward, right? You ring up and renew a car insurance. It's different. It's
Yeah.
different. There's so much more process involved, and it's trackers on cars and securities and booking appointments for people to come out, work on the car and stuff.
If your car's worth more than £40,000, I think it is, you have to have a tracker on it now. Like to get insurance, you have to have a tracker on it. Okay, and then obviously when you're a footballer, the premiums are so much higher anyway. Like so much higher. Like when I was at Man United, right, we had a few up and coming kids, through the team. 19, 20, 18, 19, 20, right? And they were all getting Audi S3s or like a Renault Clio Sports, and do you know what I mean? High performance cars, BMW M3s, right? A couple of the lads were paying 10 grand a year on insurance. 10 grand a year for insurance, right? So if you see a young kid,
That's 1 month of name.
I guarantee you, right? If you see nowadays, and insurance rates have gone crazy now, right? So any young footballer, right? It could be 18, 19, 20. If they've got a big Range Rover, like the sporty ones, if they've got M3s, those AMG 63 Mercedes, yeah, their insurance, I guarantee you, will be nearly 20 grand. I guarantee you, 20 grand a year their insurance is, yeah? Nice. And then you have to tell them where the car is going to be parked. Is it parked in a gated drive? Is it going to be parked in a garage? All that kind of stuff. And where you live, your postcode, all adds to it. But if it's a high-performance car, you're paying, for that age, 20 grand a year.
But this is what we're saying about like the role in a WAG, a wife, a partner. It is a bit different. These simple tasks are a lot more complex. It's like booking at holidays, right? So you look at booking holidays, you don't just book the jet apartments, do you?
No, you can't.
There's other considerations that need more time and effort putting into it.
Yeah, you've got to find a suitable place that you know you're not going to get like if we're talking about the top of the game here, by the way. We're talking about the big boys, the Man Cities, the Liverpools, those kind of household names that you would recognise in an instant. Yeah, they can't just go to your normal Butlins, or you know what I mean. They can't go there. Yeah. They have to go to the exclusive resorts where it's going to be quiet, where it's going to be. You know what I mean? They can just be left to relax and have a nice time. Yeah. But then most of the time, if you've got kids, those resorts aren't really child friendly. So it's about finding a nice place, to be fair.
Yeah, but this is like you said about the agent. You don't want them on the phone. Yeah. You don't want them on the phone every 5 minutes. So if you've got a financial advisor, an accountant, a lawyer, an agent, and so on and so forth, if they're not speaking to you, who are they speaking to?
Exactly. They're talking to the wife. I don't need to know that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? That will boggle my head and there's too much information going in. They just need to know that they're turning up at 9 o'clock at training tomorrow and they're going to be good to go. Let the wife deal with it, and they will deal with it. But that's what I mean. They get a bad rap because people don't see that side of it.
People have roles. It's like anything. It's not misogynistic. It's just... because people will go, wife at home and footballer. But it's just the reality.
In the sporting
sometimes.
arena, it has to be like that. Do you know what I mean? You have to basically they have to take as much stress and pressure off of the player as they can to go out there and perform, because it's a stressful job. It is. Yeah. As much as people say the lifestyle is incredible and you get paid this and that, it's a very stressful job. You know that the second you make a mistake, everybody is on it. You're a meme. Yeah. So there's a lot of pressure that comes with it as well.
How does Kate find it like going out on a night out with you? Like, and when people were like, "Oh, guys," like either the footballer Ben Foster or now, obviously, even more famous with the YouTube channel. Yeah. Like, does she go? I can't be asked.
No, do you know what? If you're out, to be fair, I'll say this: if you're out with the kids and the wife,
people are good.
People are a lot better. People are a lot more respectful, and they'll leave you to family time. To be fair, and in the main, if they do come over, they are pretty. Do you know what I mean? They're nice, and they'll just be like, "Listen, really sorry to interrupt, but do you mind?" And it's cool. To be fair, it's when you're out like by yourself or when you might be with like just a mate or something. That's when even then they're not bad. Honestly, they're not bad. I've got to say the attention that I'll get because of like the YouTube channel, people, it's a good story, all that kind of stuff. People are always very respectful, and even all the kids, they're always like, I'll make a point of bringing kids up. If they come and talk to me and say, "Can I get a photo?" I'll say, "Pardon?" And I'm not being a dickhead. Like, I just think manners. Like, I'm a big thing of manners. Just to say your P's and Q's. Yes, please. Yes, thank you. That kind of thing. And I'll go, "Pardon?" And they'll go, "Oh, sorry. Can I have a picture, please?" And I'll go, "Good lad. Love that. Well done." But on the reverse, if somebody comes up and says, "Excuse me, Ben, do you mind if I have a picture, please?" I'll go, "Mate, your manners. Well done. That's incredible." I'll make a point of looking at the parent. I'll go, "Lovely manners that," because then he sees the parent. He sees me telling the parent, and it sinks in. It does. Because imagine, like, I've had times where kids have said it to me and I've gone, "Pardon?" And
I've been with you, mate.
Sign that. And I've gone,
"Sorry,
pardon?"
Yeah.
You got to say something. And he'll go, and I'll go, "I'm not signing it, mate."
But it's when people
I'm sorry, I'm not signing it. And I look at the parent, and if he's got anything to say, I'll say, "Didn't say please, didn't say thank you, didn't say excuse me. I'm not signing it."
Love that.
I've heard it when people come up to you and like you'll get it, but you're going, "Foster, sign this."
Oh no!
And you're,
no.
Wrong guy.
Yeah, Foster, sign this.
Just be human, like on a human level. Like, do you know what I mean? Hello. Can I? Do you mind? Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. And I guarantee you, most everybody at that point will go, "Oh, I love that. Thank you."
Yeah. And what about Have you ever? I obviously know where you've moved and stuff, but have you ever like known there's interest from a club, and it could, I don't know, it could be Newcastle, it could be Southampton, somewhere far ends of the country, or have you ever kind of gone home and gone, we're moving, and been like scared or apprehensive and going, we're on the move again. Sorry.
I've never had it, honestly.
Probably because you went Birmingham West, not too far, is it?
Yeah, and even when I signed for Watford, so I live in the Midlands, but even when I signed for Watford, the first thing you do is you get on like Waze or like Google Maps, and you'll plot the journey, plan the journey, and you'll see how long it takes. And as long as it's an hour-ish max, that's fine by me. I can drive an hour all day long.
What's the furthest you've ever heard of players commuting? I remember, were you telling me of one back in the day? He used to travel the most obscene distance every day, but
there's a couple I know who have lived in Manchester and travelled down to deepest, darkest London, South London, every day.
Bridgie used to do that.
Bridgie.
Yeah, he used to drive up to Manchester.
Oh gosh,
from London.
Yeah,
miserable.
from Surrey. Yeah, he told me about it. I was like, "You're
in the
mad."
car every single day.
Yeah,
It's hard work,
He
mate.
might have stayed up there for one or two days.
Yeah.
Drive
What's
back
that?
and then go back up.
4 hours?
I think he was going quite fast. Yeah, he told me what he was doing. Yeah,
I think he was going quite fast from Watford.
Hey, what are we going to bring it up for, yeah?
I think we're on the last 6 weeks, aren't we?
Yeah,
mate?
we are on the last 6 weeks. We're on the home stretch, all right?
And then I'm not driver and manager.
There's some players who will happily live sort of Manchester way and drive to deepest London and back every single day. But
that's not good.
It's not good for your back. Genuinely, it's not, and it's not good for your body. But it might be good for their heads, and I think that sometimes is just as important as what it is for your body. So I can understand it at least. I couldn't personally do it, but I can understand why they do it. Do you know what I mean? The family is settled. They might have kids in school, all that kind of stuff. The thought of trying to move a family, like I say, happy wife, happy life sometimes, there has to be an element of that. So if the player's head is clear come a Saturday afternoon, whatever he's doing in the week, you let him do it.
Mourinho at Chelsea, apparently, he said when he first came in, he said everyone has to live within a 10-mile radius of the training ground.
Yeah.
And like if you were like 20 miles, we're like, well,
no,
got to move house.
Got to move, yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think the thing with London is you could be 10 miles away, but it'll take you 2 hours.
Yeah.
I think that's the only I think I'd say within a 30-minute drive. Yeah, or an hour's drive max, 45 minutes maybe. If you live within 45 minutes, I don't see it as a problem. Because I actually, when I used to drive down to Watford, it would take me an hour and 15 minutes, right? I knew it. M40 South, M25, never any traffic, standard, every single day, right? But I loved the hour and 15 minutes in the morning. Like, that hour and 15 minutes was genuinely just like, listen to a bit of talk sport, a little bit of music. Yeah. I could listen to a podcast, and I would just... Nice bit of peace and quiet.
Time is nice.
Yeah, I'd have my travel coffee.
I travel in the car to most of the interviews.
Mate, it's brilliant, isn't it? Travel coffee, and I'm away, mate. And I love it. I do. I used to love that hour and 15 minutes of me time in the morning. It was bang on.
And what about PAs? Because obviously we talked about players, having friends. But have you ever known anyone actually have a full-on personal assistant?
I don't think I have.
No?
No.
That's
not a massive thing in football.
I remember seeing, I'm probably going to get fact-checked here, but when Jermaine Defoe was in Sunderland, he advertised in the paper.
Yes, he did.
Saying
he did.
Decent wage as well, wasn't it?
I think it was 60 grand.
Yeah.
It was a decent wage.
But what's different from a PA to an agent to a marketing manager? What
I think they are picking up dry cleaning. They are dropping him to training.
No, I don't think it is.
They have drivers. Footballers have drivers.
Yeah, I don't think it's that. I think a PA. I think what he was advertising at that moment in time was, I'd say Jermaine Defoe is a very savvy, clever guy, right? Yeah. And I would say he's got a lot of business interests elsewhere, whether it be property, it could be business he's set up here, there, or whatever. And I think it was to basically oversee that.
Would that not be a manager then? Is a PA?
Yeah, a PA. But it's like, you know what I mean? He doesn't need a manager. He just needs a PA, doesn't he? To look over it all, make sure everything's make sure the accountant's you got a meeting this, schedule all their time, all that kind of stuff. Just make sure somebody to tell him where to be at what time. Everything else has been looked after. Wow. And I think that's what it was.
There you go.
There you go. Then
you should get him on here.
Yeah, I did send him a tweet a while ago. He didn't reply. I'm sure he's very busy though.
He's not the best again.
Yeah, he's not the best. But JD would be
definitely not going to come on now.
I really like Jermaine as well.
He's
what a guy, by the way. He's a lovely lad.
A nice bloke.
Really, really nice.
And what a player.
What a player.
goal machine.
A goal machine.
Underrated.
Another one who doesn't really get mentioned with regards to being a top Premier League striker.
He is a top.
Member of the 100 Club, for sure?
Yeah.
Oh,
definitely.
yeah.
Easily. What a
Remember
guy.
him and Keano were at Spurs together.
Yeah.
They were,
Oh,
and
yeah.
with was it him, Keano and Berbatov?
He would.
Another one you need to get on, Robbie Keane.
Yeah.
I would love to
There
get
we
him
go.
on.
I speak to
Wolves legend.
Big headed here, but I speak to him on text and stuff like that.
Oh, hook it
There
up.
you go. Hook him up then,
He's honestly one of the nicest men you ever meet.
I love it,
I
lads.
love Robbie Keane.
Fantastic.
Right, I think we're cooking, yeah, boys.
That is a hell of a podcast.
That wasn't even a podcast, surely.
These.
How can that be a podcast? Chatting about that,
I've learnt lots.
mate. Honestly, like people at home. If you haven't switched off already, right? I hope you enjoyed that because that was like, I think that's just like down the pub or something, yeah.
That's the idea, isn't it?
That's
Exactly
that's
that.
For me, that's what makes a perfect interview
I
or
love
a
it,
podcast.
lads.
Just chatting.
I think
down
we're
the
doing
pub.
something right. I do.
Yeah.
Up
I
the
love it.
chuffing Fozcast.
There we go, then, boys. As usual, up the Fozcast.
I've just done it.
Do I have to turn that way?
No, that one. You
that
can
one.
go there.
Up the Fozcast.
Go on, then,
Keep going, keep going. Best 3 second dance, go. Best 3 second dance, go.
I thought about this the other
Best
day,
3
right?
second
I
dance.
was gonna do a 2 thunderclaps. And then
You see, I primed him for that the other day because when we played golf,
I did I?
yeah,
I
yeah.
think the little is essential.
Right, there we're good. Thanks everybody for watching. We hope you enjoyed the latest episode of the Fozcast. Don't forget to give us a follow on Spotify. Up the Fozcast.